Hello there everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video is going to be a slightly different one that I've never actually done before, because I'm going to give you a bullet journal tour and also set up my bullet journal for May. It's the 27th of April at the moment, and so it's about this time of the month when I usually set myself up for the next month to follow, and so I thought we could sit down and do it all together, because this is a massive part of my life and something I write in every single day, but I've never really spoken about it that much on my channel. So to give you a little bit of background information, I only started bullet journaling this year, which seems really weird because I feel like I've been doing it forever, but the reason I started is because towards the end of 2021 I was on the hunt for the perfect planner, like I always am, and I always seem to have the struggle of finding one that I liked certain aspects of but it was missing other things that I thought would really suit my needs. And so I was looking into lots of different options. I was going to choose one that I could customise myself online, but they all tended to be really expensive, and so I ended up watching lots of bullet journaling videos on YouTube and deciding that that would actually be the best idea for me in order to organise my life in a way that suits my needs the most. So that is a story as to how I ended up purchasing this little book off Amazon, which has honestly changed my life this year so much, and I couldn't be happier with it. So I thought I would start off by giving my own little bullet journal an introduction of itself, because it does deserve one, and if you are interested in buying this I will leave it linked down below in the description box. So I purchased my journal from a company called String and Space. The main reason I chose them was because all of their designs were so cute. You could choose the books in multiple different colours, but I just decided to go with black because I thought it was nice and simple. I also really love the little star detailing that it has towards the top of the book. Also on the pages around the edge, it's got this little rose gold tint to it, and it's got other little stars going all the way along the edge and along the side too, which I think is super cute. All of the leather detailing you can see around the front is actually vegan leather, which was really important to me because one of my goals this year was to be more sustainable, and I thought this was a really good place to start. As you can see, the journal is binded by this little loop thing here, just to keep everything nice and intact. And as you open it up, you can see these little ribbon markers that help you identify certain pages that are important. I'll show you which pages I put these in of mine later, but I just thought I would leave them on a blank one for now so I could give you a proper tour of an empty journal. I'm not entirely sure how well you can see this, but the pages consist of dots. There's 26 dots going across and 38 dots going down, so it's not massive, but an A5 notebook did me perfectly because I didn't want anything too huge. And then at the back of the journal you also have this little added extra pocket. I don't personally use this, but you could keep some important documents in there if you needed to, or some scrapbooking supplies if you were going for a slightly more artistic bullet journal. And on the side here you also have a little pen loop so that you can keep a pen or a pencil in there of your choice. So now that you've been introduced to my bullet journal, it's time to open it up and show you the inside of it. Before I do so, I just want to quickly say that if you are going to buy a bullet journal, it's going to be there to serve you. So for me, when I first started looking at bullet journal spreads, I saved loads of beautiful ones, book trackers which are made up of bookshelves with all the titles wrote in each individual book. But I actually decided that as much as I can love and appreciate those, I'm not a very artistic person, and for me to sit down and try and draw those perfect little drawings and perfect layouts, it would just stress me out, which is the complete opposite response as to why I bought my bullet journal. And so as a result, I decided to keep it much more simple, which you will see in a minute. So because I purchased my bullet journal at the start of the year, the first thing I did was to create a 2022 page. I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to carry this on into 2023 or not, but I have since decided that when the new year arrives, I'll repurchase this bullet journal and start again, just as I would if I had a normal diary. The next pages are where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. I thought I would start off by listing my goals, as I always find that a massive motivation to see them written down for me. I have already discussed my goals for this year in a YouTube video, so I have no issues sharing them here again. As you would have already seen, I've got the top one ticked off already, which is really exciting, and I think I'm going to evaluate some of these as we get to the midway point of 2022. As I've previously mentioned, I'm not that artistic, but I did want a little something to make the title stand out. So I just saw these little ribbon ideas on Google Images for a bullet journal, and I thought I would copy that. I did smudge it a little bit up here. I'm not too sure if you can see that, but I tried to tell myself that it was okay. This journal isn't meant to be anything perfect, it's just here to suit me. And so I'm really happy with how that page turned out. The Then as we move over to the right hand side of this spread, we can see my favourite page out of my whole bullet journal, probably because it's the only page that has proper colour on it, but also because of how long it took me to set all of this up. So this is my mood tracker, and as you can see along the top I have the starting letters for each month of the year, and then down the side here I have the number of days that are in each month. So this goes all the way up to 31, and for the months that there aren't 31 days I just leave the little squares in white. And at the end of each day I fill in my emotion based on the colour coded key that's on the side, and I found this to be so useful in just recognising how I feel and understanding myself a little bit better. So for yellow I have happy, for green I have content, for blue I have sad, and for red I have worried or stressed. And as I said, I'm just so proud of how this page has turned out, and I'll definitely be replicating this in my next bullet journal that I have after this one. And then these following pages are actually the final tracker ones before we get into the diary section of my bullet journal. So as you can see here on the left we have a book tracker. I did a few little diagrams next to the title again just to make it stand out, and then underneath that I just list all of the books that I've read. I was going to do a date of when I've read them, but I decided against that in the end, and I was also going to do a review page at the start, but thought that was a little bit extra, so I just left it like this, and I'm really happy with how that's turned out. And then you may have noticed that the right hand side of the page is actually blank, and that's because when I first started setting up my bullet journal I wasn't sure if there was anything else I wanted to track, or if I just wanted to leave it there until I got a bit more inspiration. Since then I've not actually found anything else that I wanted to track, and I think I'm going to use this page to do a little bit of a mid-year reflection. So if you don't know, my birthday is actually on the 25th of June, which is exactly halfway through the year. So I think on my birthday I will set this page up with a similar title as to what's on the other side text-wise, call it mid-year reflection, and just ask myself a few questions about how the year's gone so far, what I'm grateful for, things like that. I'll decide when the time comes around, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So now that you've seen the more fun pages of my bullet journal, it's time to move on to the diary section of it. Now when I first decided that I was going to do this, as I already mentioned, I watched loads of YouTube videos on different setups and different styles until I found ones that kind of worked for me, and I mixed a few of them together. But the main one that I took was actually a video on Pickup Limes' YouTube channel, and I actually found out that she did a yearly spread before moving into weekly ones. This wasn't something that I had even thought about, but when I saw her doing it, I realised how useful it was to jot down birthdays all across the year of people that you know, friends and family, and also to note down events that are happening in the future, but if you waited until the weekly spread to write them down you'd probably forget about them. So as you would have probably guessed, I decided to take that idea and put it into my own bullet journal as well. I decided to split the year up over two double-sided spreads. So on one side I have the first 3 months, then I have the next, and then I have the next and the next. This is obviously the end of the year because the one at the start of the year has got lots of information in it about what I'm doing currently, whereas this side at the moment is primarily just birthdays. As you can see, I have the months of the year going across the top with 3 months to a page, and it turns out to be just enough room for me, to be honest. I just only write down main events on this that are happening. So if you were going to try and create a bullet journal in order to use it as a diary, I highly recommend having those spreads because I always refer back to them when I'm doing my weekly plans, and it makes sure that I don't miss anything important off. The next step after doing this yearly spread is to actually start going by month. So obviously I started in January, however today we're going to be setting up for May. So the first thing that I do is turn to a blank page and just write May in the middle of the page. Again, nothing extra, very similar to the 2022 one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now that that step is complete, it's time to make a start on my weekly spreads. If I'm being completely honest, this is the part of the bullet journaling that I hate the most, just because it's the most time consuming, and by the end of it my hand is so crampy. But because I take up the most amount of time, I really like to get these done at the start of the month, just so I don't have to worry about it as I go through, because I find that if I don't do it, I'm not as motivated to keep on track with my bullet journaling. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch out my weekly plans, and I'll show you what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and also explain what goes in each box. As you can see, I start off by grabbing my ruler and my pencil. Alongside the rubber, these are my bullet journal essentials. And I start off by dividing up the page fairly evenly into different sections. So I have 3 sections along the top, 3 sections along the middle, and then 2 sections along the bottom because one is slightly bigger. I then start off by writing each day of the week into my little boxes. So I have Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday along the top, Thursday, Friday and Saturday in the middle, and Sunday on the bottom alongside a don't forget box, and this is the overall result. So I've just skipped ahead and completed all of the other weekly spreads for May. I didn't think I needed to film that 4 times. Once you've seen it once, you kind of get the gist of what's happening. As I said previously, my hand is now killing me. I feel like I need a good old hand massage to make it better. But once I finish the weekly spreads, I tend to flick to them as that week is approaching and fill out a to-do list for each day. This could include loads of different things, such as where I'm working, what household tasks I'm going to do, am I going food shopping, am I meeting up with friends or family, basically anything that you would expect to find on someone's little scrap piece of paper to-do list. I just write down in my book and it's all there in front of me, and I find it so useful. As I've already mentioned, I also find that don't forget box at the bottom of the page so useful, and highly recommend having one if you are going to start a bullet journal. I really like using this for the times when I know I need to get something done in the week, but it doesn't need to be done necessarily on Monday or Saturday. It can be done whenever. So that's usually something like posting someone's birthday card, or maybe even going food shopping, or contacting a friend to organise a meet-up. Things that don't require a specific day, but I also really want to get done that week. And once each little to-do list underneath each day is written up alongside the don't forget box, I feel so much more prepared to tackle the week ahead, and I get so much enjoyment from ticking off each little thing on my to-do list. It honestly makes such the world of difference. So I'm now going to go ahead and fill out my first week of May. I'm not going to show you the finished result just because I'm going to be putting things down like where I'm going to work and things like that, so stuff that needs to be kept private. But I think you get the general idea now that I've explained everything as to what I include on each weekly spread, and to all of my other fun pages at the front of the book. So with that being said, I think it actually concludes my bullet journal tour and May setup. I do really hope that you've enjoyed this video. I know it is a little bit different from my channel, but I thought I would sit down and do one of these at some point, and now just seemed like the perfect time because why not? I'm sitting down to do it anyway. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to give it a like, comment and subscribe down below. Let me know if you want to see any more of these types of videos in the future. Let me know if you've got any other ideas for bullet journal spreads, because I would love to be inspired by them. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you all very soon in the next video. Goodbye.